Welcome to the Mariposa Hub by Nagia Daido. This is where we are all about transformative and intentional living. We want to transform our lives and be intentional about it, how we grow, how we develop ourselves. We really want to learn how to do that in the different aspects of our lives. And in this season, we began a mental health series, and we did our first episode on overcoming suicidal thoughts. And today I have the privilege of having my first guest. He is on set. He is quite amazing. We'll have this discussion together on now depression. So what is depression, the causes and such like things. This is the conversation we're having today. So karibu sana our guest. Ambia viewers wewe ni nani?
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. My name is Micah Langat. I'm a consulting psychologist at the Kenya Institute of Professional Counseling, institution that trains counselors. So here we are telling stories that are meaningful and shaping lives. And so depression is going to be an amazing topic for us today.
So now we can go to the next aspect. How is the diagnosis done, the medical process? Because at least depression is one of the mental health conditions that is treatable. So how is that medical process? Mtu anakuja anaekwa damu, anapimwa damu kama ama ni process gani inapitia?
Okay. Well, I like the fact that the new developments in the field of mental health has allowed psychological interventions to depression, because every other time depression symptoms were picked as presenting themselves, then the clients were taken to psychiatric interventions immediately, right? I don't believe in treating a psychological disorder by medicine or inducing medicine. So I like the way in a new context that where we are right now, the national government is actually also coming in, because now we are able to work together as professionals, and psychiatrists have actually come out to even give testimonials that the clients who call to them after going through psychotherapy have been more responding to medicine because of the way in which they've been helped fast. So what happens is the process of diagnosis is simple. First, the client go through psychological assessment. We call it psychotherapy, but it means the same thing. So during the psychological assessment, the client is given a chance to describe what is going on in their life, which gives them a chance it gives us a chance as psychologists to do assessment of the history, the history of the problem and how long the problem has persisted. And from there we do mental health status examination. Mental health status examination will help us to know also the co-occurring conditions.
The deeper issues now.
No. Co-occurring conditions are conditions that come with it. You know, depression is like a demon, or it's like a window.
Yeah.
Depression is like a window. Have you heard of a story in the Bible of a demon when it's cast away?
Yes, it goes
to a dry land, and it finds out that the life that they had inside that person was better, and they come back, and then they find out it was cleaned. So I think cleaning in the essence is taking care of yourselves after recovering from depression. But now what happens is depression is like the gatekeeper of other symptoms or other diseases. It can co-occur with other disorders like obsessive compulsive disorder, anxiety disorder, even panic disorder, and even real medical conditions like diabetes. It can co-occur because even HIV and AIDS and other diseases. So now so we are able to take co-occurring, we call it comorbidity. Comorbidity is the state in which you are hosting more than one condition. You're anxious, you are suffering from anxiety disorder, at the same time you are suffering from panic disorder and depression, right? Now, so after doing that assessment on mental health status examination, then you can work. So therapy can actually, in most cases, that depression can be treated by primary care.
Okay.
That is what I mean by primary care. Primary care is when you go through psychotherapy. It can be treated by psychotherapy.
Oh.
Yes, because what happens in psychotherapy is deeper than what I'm explaining here. Because you have a space to explore other things that are tangential to the issue, right? And you cannot solve problems in isolation. You solve problems as a package. Because human beings are complex.
Yeah.
You're a mother somewhere, and you're an employee of another company somewhere. You're in a relationship.
Yes.
And all of the issues are connected.
Yeah.
The interconnectedness of issues that causes depression in your life is amazing, right? So you need to solve all of them in multi-dimensional manner. So therefore, working with professionals, which I recommend primary care before you treat it, because what happens when you condition your body to medicine without proper examination? The body gets used to it, and it's no longer giving you what you are looking for. Yeah. So therefore, that is the process, the procedure. Some other times, if it gets chronic, is when we involve other professionals for psychiatric interventions.
You know, the psychiatrists, the doctors now, they check that that's the manual. Check your condition, now you're given the diagnosis.
Actually, they use the same procedures. The psychiatrists will still use the same examination procedures, but then what happens in psychiatric intervention is they induce medicine.
Okay.
Yeah, so the medicines will try to tweak with your chemical imbalances.
Antidepressants.
Yeah, the antidepressants, and others. Then others.
Wow. Thank you for that one. So that now some people now, you know, they don't know that process.
Yeah.
It scares them.
Yeah.
So that's why they avoid it and the stigma. So now we're talking about that psychotherapy, either before or after there's the primary care stage, and if now you induce medicine, you can also continue with the psychotherapy.
Yeah.
Are we able to demystify it? Because some people are afraid or feel it's like you're admitting you're weak. For me to go for counseling, I'm saying I can't handle my own issues. So is it still advisable? Is it a wrong notion that people are having?
Well, I appreciate the mental health conversations like this. The conversations are, like you're putting it, demystifying the stigma, which has been there for a long time. In fact, it was more of a taboo to seek for mental health, because in the past, depression, like I've said, has been there with us, it has lived with us for a long time. But it was, for most people, it was something kept under the carpet. And the reason was because going and seeking for help was a taboo. You will have been labeled as ill, mentally ill. And when you talk about mental health, you think about hallucination, which is the state of being mad. And who like to be labeled as mad. So therefore, seeking mental health has now become a popular and more present in us. And what's facilitating that is the normalization of the talks. Because if I see someone confess about going through a journey like mine, I'm likely to relate and experience altruism as a result of just seeing that there is someone else somewhere who is going through a similar concern as mine. So therefore, this is one of the things we appreciate. So right now, it's no longer a taboo. Seeking counseling or psychotherapy or going for medical examination of that, for that matter, is actually right now it's coming up. It's happening. Yeah.
Maybe you can mention a bit about your stories. That actually, I think the boy child gets afraid to seek help.
Yes,
what happens?
To my viewers, I would like to admit that I am a beneficiary of mental health. For both career counseling, because I am a victim of a wrong career choice for other people. I was in a different career before joining counseling. And so I've been in banking and finance. Thank you for asking that question.
Wow, interesting.
I like to tell about it. So I've been in banking and finance for quite some time before transitioning into counseling and psychotherapy. So it's a journey that has become so fulfilling to me, because I think it's now a dream come true, because I have been very blessed to be a therapist, and not just a therapist who would see clients, and the clients come back to me to say, thank you, you saved my life. That has been more gratifying. And it goes beyond that, because when people see the light, it's like taking someone through psychological surgery, and it's a real process, right? Very scientific. It's not done kienyeji the way we do it. Out there, conversationalist approach to issues, and we've seen it working. So therapy works for men.
Yeah.
My experience actually in therapy, I go to therapy to see a psychologist. She was a woman.
Yeah.
And my therapist told me, Langat, from where you're coming from, I am a Kalenjin. So she told me, men never cry. And I tell them that's true, because I never cry. And she told me in therapy it's acceptable to be vulnerable, and she advised me that if I cry, she will be there to support me. And I tell her, what? I am not going to cry. Now we went for sessions. On my seventh is when I think she took me to a place that I do not know, because I still can't remember how possible someone can cry, right? Yeah. So I cried, I broke down. She told me later on when she was teaching me, because it was a teaching therapy, that I experienced what we call catharsis, which is a sigh of relief. It's just that I've been keeping things to myself. I keep things and shelving it until it reaches a time when I had to just release it. So that in the process of releasing them, I experienced what she called catharsis. And I went ahead and researched about catharsis. I think it's a state in which everyone should go, because we have been keeping things, right?
Yeah,
so
bottling
them, and it's not healthy. Things should be let free, so that you enjoy a more fulfilling life. So, and therapy is more safe space. We talk to a professional, and they are able to give you that space, which is free of judgment. Out there you can tell your story, and the next thing you see, you are in a social media. So therefore, why I would be more confiding with a professional is because I know they even tell me about the confidentiality clause. Yeah, they say the confidentiality clause every time you're starting the sessions. And so that is just a glimpse of therapy, right? For those who have never been to therapy.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, that was wonderful. Thanks for coming out, and that encouraging, and that was really nice. Careers also, I think, really contribute to this thing, that maybe I was called for something else, then my interest and this area, I think they can also contribute to matter.
Excessively. Thank you for highlighting it that way, because if you are in the wrong place, I talked about the environment. If you are not in control of what you're doing, it means first of all you're not specialized in that. Are you seeing that? So therefore, make sure to see a professional before you choose a career, because it can be frustrating to be doing something else.
Yes, I hope you people counselors are going to the career talks to high schoolers before they go to college, so that you help them as they choose their careers. Yeah.
It's happening. Not to the extent that is
that needs
good
to be
enough.
there.
Yes, the standard should be bigger.
Initiatives like that should continue. Wow.
I mean, the initiative like starting your YouTube channel, this will get us the message going out there. Social media, people are consuming social media right now, and we will meet you there. Please, just subscribe.
The schools should come. You should look for him. He shares the story.
Well, we can share the stories.
And the advice also.
Yeah, and advice as well.
Yes. So how can someone who is doing depression manage the symptoms, so that now it doesn't take them so long, so that now it also helps them to, apart from all the therapy, are there other ways that they can do for themselves to come up, to regain their life back?
Yeah, I'd like to answer that together with how do people who live with people who have depression take care of themselves. Caregivers. So what happened is, I talked about human beings are mechanistic. That is exactly what you do. If you are having irregular sleeping patterns, first of all you just have to check on that. Watch on very small things, like what time you sleep, what you eat. One of the things you have to change in terms of diet is first of all to induce green diet, to eat greens, and a certain type of protein, which has omega-3. You know omega-3?
Yeah.
Omega-3 is found in fish, tilapia. There is another oil that is very unique, but I think most people can just access fish. I mean, that brings the issue of economy and lower food prices on the table right now.
Yes,
Like, if you hear me recommending to eat fish, which is something you have money, you need to have money to obtain it. I think that is actually explaining why depression is also coming from not having money.
Yes, the
right?
economy issues.
Yeah, the economy issues. And the economy issues are connected with your career. Like,
yes.
so everything is having a ripple effect.
Yes, and
right?
also now trying to seek for mental health services.
Yes.
Also needs money.
It needs money. But there are free counseling sessions.
Okay.
For those who are looking for pro bono services. I believe if you are seeing this and you are looking for pro bono services, you should connect. We can create avenues. There are places that you can see a counselor. You can be supported just to get started, and then when you are on your foot, then you can pay, right?
I think you can get some of those institutions.
Yes.
We'll put them in the description box.
Yes, there are so many of them. Yeah. So now, managing yourself is first of all by watching on the diet. I talked about diet, of course. Make sure there is a protein that is needed. The omega-3 is needed in the brain. One of the chemical imbalances talked about can be regulated a lot by the omega-3, which is found in that fish, the oil in the fish, in the tilapia. And then green diet. Avoid excessive sugar, and which is found in junk foods. And we move forward. Taking care of yourself as well include things like that I talked about. Time management, right? Time management is a major depressive causative effect, causative factor in employees of a company. Like for example, I have real testimonies of deadlines. You see that thing called deadline? When you miss one or two of them, the third one will lead into depression. And
Depression.
yes, the pressure. And there is nothing like guilt. You know, one of the key emotions that is controlling. Is it emotions that is controlling depression is guilt. Guilt is an emotion that is so
strong.
Not strong. It is so old now that we can trace it back to the Garden of Eden when Adam and Eve were found naked and they were experiencing the emotion of guilt. So guilt is actually also likely to lead you into depression. So therefore, work on deadlines, work on those things that are important, by make sure you're focusing on things that are important first. Organizing your life, because I have told you that human beings are mechanistic.
Yes.
Yeah. So give your body things that need to deliver you and give you the best reward.
What about exercise?
Exactly, things like those. Exercising, because I talked about sitting too long on the social media, it's going to cause you depression. So exercises are important because it helps your system. We talk about system. I like it. You talked about system.
Yes.
Our body is a system. The systems needs to correspond. If you have to define depression, you cannot define well-being minus the other dimensions of human being. The physical, the emotional, the psychological, the spiritual, the dimensions. They are actually up to 8 dimensions of a human being. All of them need to coordinate together. So exercises are very important.
So what about the caregivers? How to take care of them?
Yeah, caregivers.
And also identifying it and how to assist that person who is going through it.
Yeah, you know, what an interesting thing when you talk about caregivers, depression can be misinterpreted because we talked about, you know, have you seen that there are, you go to a family gathering and people say, oh no, it seems like life is doing you good.
Yes.
But the resultant effect of depression is actually increasing your weight, right? So it could be that you're not really enjoying so much, and they say, you know, it seems like our shemeji is treating you well. The shemeji is on your case.
It's harassing you.
Yes, so therefore, the caregivers you might misinterpret or you might not detect the depression. So therefore, it's imperative for the person to talk about things. So therefore, it's just about being clear in communications. One of the things that we can do so much is increasing or enhancing communications, whereby we tell people that it's free to talk about things that are going on. Whether you're talking to a professional or talking to just anybody,
your friend or
it is okay to talk about things and communicate. Learn to say that I am not okay, right? That kind of step can help you to be heard, to be known. You're helping the caregiver, the person in front of you, to know. Have you seen this thing called ghosting, where you keep quiet from not talking about things? The moment you do that, people might not really get to help you well, and they can be the cause of the depression, right? So therefore, communicating your intentions and communicating things to people, even in relationships, is going to help you, for the caregivers to know what's going on in your life. Because we cannot just sit there and think that we are detective machines where we can detect that your things are not working out for you. So like for example, men are more major victims of this. When we do things are not working out for us, we tend to keep it, right? We keep it to ourselves. If you cannot tell your wife, you can talk to someone else. So the caregivers, the important step that caregivers should do is to do probing. I think everyone should just ask.
Getting more information.
Yes, and not getting information in a way that you're like inquisitive. You see, inquisitive is not one of the things we do as therapists. We are not inquisitive. When we are probing you to get to know about you, we can extend the same knowledge to the caregivers. That is important to always declare availability. You say, I am available if you want to talk to me about things like this. Call me if you want. That's a very famous statement. Call me if you want. But the thing is, like, declare always that check on someone. Like, you can check on them. Checking on them in a way that doesn't look like you're inquisitive. Because inquisitivity makes people block issues.
Defense.
Yeah, it blocks you from, because I'm like, it seems like you're more interested in your life so that you can attack me. Because people protect that space. And especially when they are depressed. People who are depressed do not like, because of that guilt that I talked about. Like for example, if I had to tell you that I have a lot of deadlines that I need to meet and my boss is harassing me for that, I am likely to experience guilt and ashamed, right? And hopeless. So instead of saying that, I would rather protect that. So if you appear inquisitive, I will shut you off. So therefore, that is one of the things caregivers can do. Just declare availability. Even if someone has lost someone and they are depressed as a result, when you are approaching the case, don't say, talk to me, or be yourself, be strong. Just declare that, well, if anything, I'm available. I'm available, you can talk to me. That assurance is very important. Okay.
Wow. Thank you so much. I think that's quite important. And I think even now that point that the caregiver or the friend needs to learn, and it brings us to the point on learning, equipping yourself. I know you have mentioned that you're in an institution that trains counselors. So what are some of these things that people can train themselves so that they're better equipped in handling these mental health cases? The training, the self-awareness. So what are these opportunities, and what do you do at your institute?
All right, I'm liking it that I can talk about what we do here now. So the institution, we train counselors. One of
someone who wants to be a counselor or already a counselor?
We even train counselors.
Okay.
Because professional development is one of the things we would like to have counselors experience. Because for effectiveness, you need to renew the knowledge, refreshing. In fact, with the new curriculum, the changing curriculum, you like to refresh and get to have to update your professional development. Now, so primarily,
the fresh ones also, anyone can come.
A fresh starter who would like to take a career interest in counseling, I will recommend a few professional courses that are meant for interested people who like to would like to get a sneak preview into psychology, and you can actually declare yourself as a psychologist immediately you're done with those professional development courses. We have many of them, like basic counseling skills. It helps you in understanding diagnosis, process of counseling, and everything around therapeutic context. Basic counseling skills. I would recommend also that everyone, general public, can undertake trauma and psychological debriefing. It's a course that teaches you on trauma. I think if we have time, we can talk about trauma.
Yes, I think we should bring you back for trauma.
Yes, and loss and grief counseling, among many other courses that we have. Maybe we do have so many because others are specializing, like medical conditions counseling, like mental health counseling, things like gender-based violence counseling, and you talk about HIV and AIDS counseling, among other short courses. But primarily, if someone would like to take a career in counseling, I might just suggest a training like certificate in psychological counseling. Psychological counseling is more it's more versatile because now you're prepared to diagnose a client and take them through the process of counseling for up to a level that they are able to work by themselves. Yes. So it's also a career interest for people who like to take a career in counseling.
So they can either take it as a career and can also someone just learn for their own benefit to learn it and see how to assist others.
Exactly, yes. As far as our professional diploma in counseling, you get a license to become a professional therapist or psychotherapist, which gives you avenues to experience counseling as a way of as a journey of self-discovery. I consider counseling as a journey of self-discovery, giving you a chance to know yourself, experience self-awareness, which you can use it for your own self-efficacy. At the same time, you can take a career in it. You can do what you love, doing what you love, and know that there are many opportunities for work and self-employment. So it will be a very interesting thing to see you take a career in counseling. Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. So where are you allocated at?
Right, sure.
Institute?
We in major key towns, but right now we our main campus is in Nairobi, Asina Towers, 8th floor.
Yes.
That is where we do major trainings there and consultation for counseling services and counseling supervision for counselors.
And yourself, if someone wants to reach you for services, for counseling services and the other consulting, how can they reach you and what can you engage in for them? Okay, well, if for I think my number, but you can find me at the beautiful college, the Kenya Institute of Professional Counseling, Nairobi campus, at Asina Towers, 8th floor. You can my number is 0701 261 303. And what is amazing is that I'm not just consulting in psychology, I also consult in a bigger picture. I'm concerned about telling stories that do not just fight the stigma of people seeking help, seeking counselors. I also demystifying a bigger stigma surrounding the profession. So I am advocating for counselors licensing. You get the licensing. I consult in that area as well for counselors who are viewing and they like to get their licensing stuff like those. I am consulting in that, making sure that you have the credibility to practice as a counselor. Wow.
Yeah.
You can tell us
my parting shots.
Yes, your parting shots.
My parting shots is very simple.
Yes.
One is that depression is a sign of something. It is a voice of something deeper in within you. So there is something knocking and telling you we need they are calling for attention. Don't ignore them. Listen to it and have conversations both internally and externally. It's not enough to have internal conversations, but otherwise very soon you will start speaking to yourself on the road. You become chronic, so you don't want that. It's not enough to have just internal conversations. Also have external conversations with a professional or anybody willing to give you a listening ear. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope you had a lovely time learning. Those are quite some amazing tips. We learned about depression, how to build ourselves, how to handle them, and even other areas of our lives. This brings us to the end of our session. I hope to see you in the next video where we're going to handle another aspect in the mental health series. Ensure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get to know when we post the next video. Yes, that's all from us. Bye bye. Till the next time. Thank you.
Thank you.